Hi, my name's Adam Smith. I'm recording this video to review a book called How to Grow Leaders, The 7 Key Principles of Leadership Development by John Adair. John Adair is one of the world-leading authorities on leadership development and leadership. Over 1 million managers worldwide have taken part in an action-centered leadership program that he pioneered. John Adair was a senior lecturer in the military. After this, he became an advisor in the leadership training program at the Royal Military Academy at Sandhurst. In 1979, John Adair became the first professor of leadership studies at the University of Surrey. He has written over 50 books on topics such as motivation, creative thinking, innovation, inspiration, leadership, and decision-making. John Adair won a scholarship to Cambridge University. He earned his master's degree from Oxford University and a doctorate of philosophy from King's College in London. He achieved the title of honorary professor from the People's Republic of China. John Adair is, quote, argued to be the author of the first leadership book, called Training for Leadership in 1968. He is recognized internationally for his contributions to this field. As we know, John Adair is well known for leadership books, and his purpose for this book is clear. John Adair writes this book to provide insight for leaders' effective leadership development. He writes the book to promote any level of leadership development. He has two purposes. The first purpose is covered in Part 1, where he helps the reader understand what leadership is. John Adair in 2005 says, quote, "First, unless you are reasonably clear what leadership is and how it relates to management or command, you will be seriously handicapped when it comes to attempting to develop leadership. If you don't know what it is, how can you develop it?" Quote, end of quote. The second purpose of this book is to teach the 7 key principles of leadership development. He allows the reader to relate each principle to your line of work or business. John Adair's target audience is for anyone seeking the necessary knowledge about improving leadership skills. The audience can be anyone from growing leaders, strategic leaders, operational leaders, or team leaders. The range of audience is from new leaders to highly trained chief executive leaders. The principles that John points out can benefit anyone from aspiring leaders or current leaders. A few strengths of the book are that it's a short book. It's only 173 pages long. It's easy to read. It's clear and concise. There are 2 parts. One part to prepare the leader and to teach the 7 key principles of leadership development. There are multiple case studies. There's multiple examples of successful leaders. There are many quotes from successful leaders. And the chapter ends in a key point summary. And it's written by John Adair, who is a prestigious leader and promotes leadership development. Some shortcomings of the book is that it's not healthcare specific. There are too many military experiences, and it lacks content for leadership barriers such as women, minorities, and discrimination. John Adair achieves his objectives in this book. In an interview, John Adair responds to a question about the purpose of this book. John states, quote, "I think it comes out of feelings that there isn't really sufficient awareness on this subject. We do not have a body of knowledge now about how to grow leaders, so I thought it was timely for this book to come out." In the first part of the book, John teaches the reader about leadership. The first part is purely preparatory for the second part of the book. John teaches the reader about leadership, and the book teaches the 7 key principles of leadership development. And throughout the book, John allows the reader to personally relate these 7 key principles and identifies the reader to the content. He does this through stories, case studies, and applicable questions. Overall, John achieves his objectives because by the end the reader has the knowledge of leadership and the 7 key principles of leadership development. The 7 key principles are training for leadership, selection, line managers as leadership mentors, the chance to lead, education for leadership, a strategy for leadership development, and lastly, the chief executive. Together, these two parts of the book personalize the content. I recommend this book to a broad spectrum of leaders, for individuals who are not leaders and ones who want to become leaders. The book will educate you about leadership in part 1 and then help you identify the 7 key principles of leadership development. On the other side of the spectrum, I recommend this book to experienced leaders. Experienced leaders can benefit from this book because it allows you to think and personalize each of the 7 key principles and relate them to your organization and leadership style. Overall, this book identifies with anyone pursuing leadership or is currently in a leadership role. Additionally, this book is written by a prestigious author who accomplishes his objectives in the book. At the end of the book, you will have the knowledge to be a better leader. And that's the end of my presentation, and I want to thank you for your time, and I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I did. And here's my references. Thank you.